Okay, we're on.
Welcome everyone to our class on Sefer Higayon by Rav Moshe Chaim Luzzatto of blessed memory. As we normally do, we give a brief overview just to get us located in the Sefer before we get involved in the Sefer itself. The Sefer is divided into three parts. The first part, he explained where concepts come from and the various permutations, what they go through, the variations they go through. And then he said, after you understand the concepts, you want to organize them from the particulars up to the generals in their logic tree, in their organizational chart, so to speak. That's the first part. We're in the second part of the book where he breaks Higayon into explaining the terms of Higayon and then statements and syllogisms. In the end, in the third part, he'll tell us how to use what he's explained in the Sefer. But we're involved in Bir Shemos, and what we're going to do today is do a little bit of a review of Siba and the Subab, and then we're going to go into the Mishnayos of Nezikin, of Baba Kama, and we're going to ask ourselves what type of causes are we speaking about in the Mishnayos. So it's going to be a little bit of an open class. Participation, we'll be free to make mistakes and correct ourselves and go back and forth. Now, the book, of course, has a lot of little parts which all make sense when you do them individually, but it requires Chazara to really get into it. Basically what he does like this, when he talks about cause, you have cause and effect. That's one of the most primal elements of any logical discussion. We're going to be going to Nezikin. There'll always be the cause of the damage and the effect of damage. Okay, if it's a shore can cause damage to a man. It could cause damage to an animal. A man can cause damage to another man. He can cause damage to an animal. He can cause damage to Kalim. He can break Kalim. So there's always the cause of the damage and its effect. What effect did it have? The object that it affected. In cause, the Ramchal breaks down cause into two basic units. The first one is what he calls the external cause. And the second one is what he calls the internal cause. The external cause is anything that's outside the etzem thing itself. For instance, if a person creates a pot, okay? The person is outside the pot. He's not inside the pot. So he's external to it. The result, or excuse me, internally is the vessel that he created. So if a person does damage, for instance, so he's the cause of the damage. So there's always he's the poel that does it. The question is, what does he work on? Okay, so whatever he works on would be the internal aspect of the damage. So now, when it came to the external cause, like a person doing damage or a person building or making a clay vase, the Ramchal broke it up into 5 different. Actually, I shouldn't go there. There's the person who does the cause and then his tachlis, okay, or the animal that does the cause and tachlis. It doesn't matter, okay. So, and when it came to the person who does the cause, for instance, if it's a person, it could be an animal. So he defined when the person himself, the atzmi essence, the essential person himself, takes the object in his hand, he breaks it, as opposed to B'mikra, he happens to be walking and he bumps into something. Okay, so there it's a mikra that the object broke. And then he explained to us there's the molida, the mikayemis, and the mapsetis. There's the molida, which is the cause that gives birth to the damage, so to speak. The one that keeps the damage going if it's a continuous type of damage, and then this thing that would stop the damage from happening. Okay, like for instance, if you put out the fire, for instance. Okay. Then he explained the other box, you have causes which are natural and voluntary. Usually man does a voluntary action. Okay. And then you have causes which are further away and closer. So the smucha is the cause that's right before the result. And the karov is the one right before that. And then there's the far away cause, which is 3 steps removed. Good. When it came to tachlis, he said that there's your tachlis and your MCE. There's the goal that you have. Oops, what happened over there? That was interesting. There's the goal that you have, and then there's the means to get to the goal. Okay, if you want to be a Talmid Chacham, then you have to learn Torah. Okay. Then he said there's also minor in goals. You can have essential ones, and then you can have a lot of other side goals. But there's one essential one, and minor ones, and there's the MCE and the achron, which is the means and the final end. Now, when it came to the object itself, there's like a man, he said, the faraway cause of a man could be offer. Man was originally created from dirt, oil, soil, let's say, earth. The karov would be his basar and his basar and dam. Okay. And then when it comes to the formal cause, that's more of a definition. You can define man as a Baal Chaim Medaber, that's his essence, or you can define him when you don't have the essential definition, so you can use mikrim to define man, okay, or anything like Isaiah. Usually you want to define it by its essence, but if you want to, sometimes you can't find the essence, so you'll use a mikra of man, and you'll define him that way. Maybe the surah type of skin he has, or something like that. Okay, and the results will follow these four courses. There's a Boel, a Nigzat, and Chomer, and the surah. Okay, now let's have some fun with Baba Kama. And we'll go back and forth with this chart and with the Gemara, and we'll see if we can put together what we learned here in theory and make it more practical. Okay, let's see. Here's Baba Kama. Here's Mishnayos in Baba Kama. So the Mishnayos says that there's 4 types of Nezikin. There's the Shor, the Bor, the Mava, and the Hebler. Okay? So, now, then it goes in to tell us that one is not like the other, and it's out of Shavuot Shebehen, etc. So, these Shor, Bor, Mava, and Heber, when it comes to Nezikin, what type of cause of damage are they?
So, okay.
So this won't.
Yeah.
We're going to play now, so it's okay. We can. Let's say the Shor. Okay. When a Shor does damage.
Yes,
so we have to say.
You would say that that's well, let's start from the top, work our way down, right? It's an
Right.
external. It's the chitzayna, external cause.
Right. It's the external cause of the damage. Okay. Very good.
And then we have to go down the tree one more time, whether it's a pile or a tachlisis.
Well, actually,
It could be both.
it will have both.
Right.
Okay. It's the poel and what's his tachlis. Now, if we divide it up, for instance, Karen. Okay. Karen, what's the tachlis of the shore in Karen? You probably didn't do it in a while.
I haven't done it in a while, but what is
Okay.
it?
Karen is called kavana lahazik.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
Right.
there, his tachlis is to do hezek. Unlike, for instance, regel. Regel is just derech hilucha. His real tachlis is just to get from one place to the next. But he doesn't have kavana
Right.
lahazik. Okay. So when it comes over here, when we said, this is a very interesting one. You see this box here, Tivis and Ritzonis.
Right.
So maybe you could say that the shore, Kavana Lahazik, has Ratzon, right? I mean,
Right.
An animal does have a little bit of Ratzon, right? But when it comes to Shane or Regel, that's Tivis. He's hungry. He eats. It's not. There's no ratzon over there
Right.
to do damage. He just wants to eat. Al piteva, he likes to eat. Okay. Now let's see if we can. Okay. If I ask you what's the tachlis of, maybe that would be better. What's the tachlis of the shore when he does Karen? His tachlis, his ikar tachlis when he does Karen, we said was kaval hazik. So, right? So he has both, and this is very important because it doesn't mean either or here.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So the poel has to be, it's a poel b'ratzon when it comes to Karen, correct?
Right.
And his ikar tachlis is lahazik, right? Kavana lahazik. He has intent to do the damage.
Right.
Okay. So now when it comes to regel, for instance, he doesn't have a tachlis to do damage.
Right.
Right? It's not his tachlis. Okay. He really just wants to get from place A to place B. Okay. So let's see what else we can play with.
So what happens is, so really what you're saying is there's a tachlis to regel, but not the tachlis that's going to lead to the mesavev of damage. The mesavev is going to be to get from place to place. Right, so it goes into a different category, because every action, right, what's one of the laws of physics, right? Every action has an equal opposite reaction, so every action has a purpose.
As a tachlis.
As
exactly.
a tachlis, but if we're talking about the nezek, so then regel would not have a tachlis of nezek because it was not, the purpose was not to damage.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Now let's look at some other Mishnayos. Again, we're trying to apply this stuff. That's the most important thing, and not keep it in the air. Okay. So it says well, the mav, it depends. If the mav is man, then we learned, really, we're going to learn later on that a man is muad la'olam. It doesn't matter if he does an action of ratzon or not. He's always muad if he does damage, even if he's sleeping and the kalim are put in front of him. But he has to have a little pashia because he broke the kalim when he was asleep. It has to be that the kalim are at his feet when he lied down. But he didn't really have kavan al-hazik. Right? He was just there was kalim at the foot of his bed,
Right.
and someone else's kalim, and he lied down. So he really had no kavan lahazik. It wasn't ratzonis, but he's still chayav. And the heather is pure tibis, right? The heather has no ratzonis b'chlal.
Right.
Right? The heather, the fire, has no ratzonis b'chlal. Okay. Now here's one. It says, Kol shachati b'shmiraso hiksharti et nisko. Anything that you're obligated to watch, so it's as if you caused the damage. Okay, which is another very interesting relationship between the shmira and the damage. Because really all you did was not shomer something properly. Like say you left the gate of your corral open, right? So you really, it's only through your negligence of shmira that you cause the damage, but you're still chayav.
Right. Well,
So
the word
you even have a tachlis.
I wouldn't say the word hachsharti though means to cause it. Hachsharti would be the words like it would be. I would maybe like prepare.
You prepared it.
Right.
Exactly.
So the person that was not watching it properly, he prepared this thing to be damaged. So his removal of his shmira allowed it to become damaged. So the cause and the effect here is that the cause was that he didn't watch it. The effect was, and now it was open to the elements, and damage could occur. Now it happens to be we're going to obligate him for that.
So he, again, now let's look back at our chart, you see. Now we have another good explanation here. The direct cause of the damage, let's say he left the barn door open, okay, the corral open, and the shore went out and did damage, right?
Right.
Well, he was supposed to watch it, he didn't. So the direct cause of the damage was the shore, right?
Right.
And he was really a siba, either karova or rachoko, one or the other. I don't know how we're going to define it. By leaving the door open, he was a distant cause from the result.
Right.
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 Because the door was open and the shore went out and did his damage. So even though he is a distant cause, okay, Rachov or Karov, I don't know exactly if it's Samuch, it's right. I guess if he opened the door and went out immediately, then maybe that would be Karov. But this is a little bit distant. I mean, all he did was keep the barn door open. That's the pula that he did was to not do a good shmir by keeping the barn door open. And okay, so good. And again, he had no, really, if you're talking about the person who didn't do the shmir, then even though normally it's an action of rutzon, but here the rutzon was only to keep the gate open, right? Exactly. He didn't want the damage.
Right.
He didn't want someone to be damaged, but he kept the gate open, and he was a siba rechoka for the damage to happen. Okay. Very good. Now let's see if we can play some more here. All right. Now it says here, Hiksharti b'nixas nisko, chati b'tishlume nisko kehikshar kol nisko. Now that's an interesting case. In that case, you can't tell from the words, but the case is like this. Someone builds a bore, digs a bore of 9. Okay. And then someone comes along and fills it to 10. So a bore 10 can kill, and an animal falls and dies. Okay? So it says that even though he did mixas nisko, which is the last tefach, he's chayav on all the damage. Okay? Beseda?
Yep.
Is that clear the case?
Yeah. That's
okay.
familiar.
So now let's, okay. So now we'll go to our little chart now, you see? So now, if I asked you who created this bore, what would you say?
So it was a joint effort.
That's correct. So in his world, what is a joint effort called?
Miktsas Niskai.
Yeah, but
Oh, in his world. Oh, in his world.
chart.
Oh, in the charter. So that's Pile Be. What is that? Bechevra.
Oh, Bechever. Yeah, that's. I'll try to make it a little. There we go. I hope that's a little better.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. There we go.
Oh,
Okay.
actually, I can.
That's called Pol Bechevra, right? There's two people created the Nezik. And they were the Siba, let's even say it better now. They're the Siba Molida, right?
Right.
They gave birth to the damager.
Right.
Okay? So two people gave birth to this damage. Okay? Now, the question is, are there shakel or bilti shakel, mukhrach or bilti mukhrach? So, are they both necessary to do the damage?
Yes.
You know, they both were necessary, correct?
Yes.
So are they shakel? Are they equal or unequal in the producing of damage?
They're unequal.
Yeah, why?
Because the one who dug at 9 tfachim, he didn't create a situation to be able to kill. He created and the one who did the last tafach, he created the situation to be able to kill.
Very good. So they were bilti shkulim, but they were mukhrachim, correct?
Right.
Without both of them, it wouldn't have been there, but they were bilti shkulim.
Right.
And really, it was only the second one that was the malida. Right?
Right.
It was only the second one is the malida, even though, because as far as the misa is concerned, as far as the war is concerned, they both did it. Okay? Now,
Right, so Melida you have here in English as again is the one who actually was the.
I like the, I don't, again,
It says initial, I don't
some
know.
of the words. I don't like the word initial. Melida, I understand why it was picked. I mean, but Melida means it gave birth to the, it gives birth to the result.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, so
It gave birth. So if, go ahead, I'm sorry.
so the one who added the last tefach, he was the one who allowed us to give birth to the result of this bar being able to kill.
That's
what you call it.
correct.
Okay.
He was really the Siba Melida.
Right.
Right? And even though he had a shuta that was mukhrach, correct?
Right.
He couldn't have done it without the other guy's 9. Because he's the Siba Melida, and also he's Bilti Shukla. I don't know what's so important as Bilti Shukla. He only did 1, the other guy's 9. If they each did 5, I think he just did it afterwards. You know what I mean? That'd be interesting. But okay, but because he was the Sigma Melida of the Hezek, then he is considered Chayev.
Right.
Okay? The Seg. Let's go a little further. Okay, this is all about who owns the Nezek. You know what I mean? It has to be someone that the Nezek doesn't have. Me'ila here, Nechasanam Yuchadim. Nechasanam Yuchadim. That's talking about the result of the damage has to be property that is of a. No, I'm sorry. Again, Nechasam shein behen me'ila means that the mesubah, the result, that which was damaged, has to be something of a hedge, not anything of hegdish. Hegdish is put in as Nechasam shein shel b'nei bris. It has to be Jewish stuff that was the result of the damage, and not Goyish stuff. Nechasam hamiyuchadim. I thought that meant without shutfis. 1 second. I think, yeah. 1 second. I forgot what yuchadim was. Yeah, you have it over there?
No, I'll look it up.
Okay, 1 second. Yuchadim. I have it also in the finals here. Here it is. L'baalim, prat nechasim hefker. Okay. It can't be hefker. Okay, but that's not going to help us really. That's just the result. We'll call Malcolm. Okay, those are Rishuyot problems. Okay. Then we have Shum Kesed. That's how the Shum has to be. It has to be with Kesed or Shava Kesed, and it has to be Aiden and Noshim in the damage. And here's one. It says the Nizak and the Mazik are Shutafim in Tashlumin. How could that possibly be? How could the Nizak, how could the Mazik we understand, but how could the Nizak be Shutaf?
Right.
Right? He's the victim. So, what's the answer to that? Maybe Mishnah is saying it?
Is let's see, I don't remember the Mishnah.
It says, Tamim shnehem משתתפים בתשלומי הניזק, כגון בשור תם שנוגח שאין המזק משלם אלא חצי נזק, ונמצא שאף הניזק מפסיד חצי נזק. That's what it means. In a short time, so the mazik only has to pay for half. So even though his animal was damaged by the mazik, who's the poel, he's going to lose half his money. Okay, the Seder. Now here it says Chameshin Tam v'Chameshin Muadim. There's 5 Tamim and there's 5 Muadim. So it says the behema is not muad to ligoch, lishoch, below lirvot. So these are all actions of the Siva Poelis, of the shore, right? He either gores or he pushes with his body. That's ligof. Lishoch, or he bites, or he sits on the animal. He sits on the object, or he kicks. Okay, so that's all really Karen. That's all we said. His tachlis was to do damage in all these things, and it just so happens that the Av is Karen and all these other ones I think I told us. Okay. Now, here's the object. The shein is muedes lechol et kol harui lo. So it's muedes, okay, to eat only things which are proper food. Because if it doesn't eat something that's food, so then again it's Karen because it's kavan lahazik, right? So it's tachlis. It has to be, if we get back to the chart over here, when it's tachlis is tivis, right, like eating something that's ui law, so that's called muad. But if it's ritzonis, like it's eating something that's not ui law, so the only kavanah there was its tachlis was to do damage, right?
Right.
So that's why you have to pay chetzi nezik. Okay. Now, the shor muad is the shor after he gores 3 times. So then that means his status changed from a tam to a muad. We'll get to muad later on in the logical boxes logical terms. The shor hamasik b'shuzanizek ba'adam. Adam was always muad lola. Okay. Now, and all these zebs and bardless, all these wild things, now we have a machlokus. If they're domesticated, can they be domesticated? Can they be trained by teva not to be mazik? There's a machlokus over here. Okay, let's see if we can get some other things. Here, let's look at this one. The tarnagol. Oh no, here, let's do this one. Okay, so now we're talking about regel, and the shore really is kavanah only to walk, but the Baal has a chiyuv of shmira, because the behemoth only does what it does. Its pa'ula is only a pa'ula b'tivis. But you or the Baal are chayav because you know that al pi teva, this behemoth is going to destroy things in its way, correct?
Right.
And we said over here, if she was kicking, now what happens if she was mivetes? She was kicking, okay? So when she's kicking, so there, she has kavana.
Okay.
But listen to this one. O shahayat sroros menatzin mitachas ragleha v'shover et hakelim. What happened over there?
So she stepped down and
rocks.
A pebble flew out.
Okay, so now what is the pebble in relationship to the Siba Poelis?
So it's it's just the intermediary. Okay,
it's an MCE to the damage, you want to say.
That's an MCE. Right. Where's that on the chart?
Okay, we'll move it over. We'll see the MCE. There, he says, there's the tachlis MCE and the aqua. So I don't know if that usually means that there's if you want to learn Torah, so you have to, if you want to be a doctor, you have to learn books of refuah. So the tachlis MCE is to learn the books of refuah to get to your tachlis achron. So here,
Hello? I think I lost you. I lost the last. I wasn't hearing you for the last few about the last minute.
Okay. Again, what we were talking about, he walks and stones shoot out from his foot.
Right. So we're saying that was an MCE, and you say you weren't sure if it was the.
I thought originally it was the kalis, but it could be also kalis, and the kali is the MCE to the damage. But usually in the MCE, talked about a tachlis MCE. So you could say the damage happened through the means, but it's always an MCE. The way he learns MCE is like the intermediate goal till you get to your final goal. So you want to say that maybe it's more the Sibir Rechoka Korova. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe it's the Sibir Korova. I don't know. Let's think about it. Because the next one is okay. We have to think about it to
right. Okay.
Properly. Okay, let's see what else is here. Here, Darsa ala kli v'shavroso. The animal steps on a kli and he breaks it. V'nofel al kli acher v'shavro. And now the pieces of the kli, they fall, the kli falls on another kli, and it breaks. So I think it's right. It's an MCE to the final goal. What he did was really only an MCE to the nezek, because there was the final thing that broke it was the shards coming from the kli that he stepped on. So al rishon mishal nezik shalom, al ha'achron mishal chetzi nezik, because as you said, he was only an MC. It was through his MCE, even though it was also why Chayv B'chalak was just an MCE. And I suppose because you should have known that happens. You have to know that an animal walks and things shoot out.
Right.
Okay. Here's another one. The tarnagal. Let's look at the tarnagal. The tarnagol muadin lahalach kadarko l'shabir. Okay, that chicken, of course, is muad to walk in a normal way and to break things. So you have to watch out. But look at this one. Haya Dalil is a Dalil, kosher baragla. He's got a
bucket or a pitcher.
A bucket, yeah, or a pitcher that's tied to his foot. Okay. Oshahaya, I thought it's Mahades. It could be a mistake here in the printing. Mahades v'shovro et kelim. He was dancing around, and he broke the kelim, so he pays chatzi nezik. Well, okay. When he's dancing around and the pebbles spurt out from his foot, so that's tzroros, right?
Right.
He was the MC to the damage. But what about the dali? What's the relationship of him to the dali in the damage?
So the question is if that's more direct because it's tied to his foot. So instead of being we didn't decide what the tzroros are.
Right.
But it could be something more of a direct. I don't know which one that would be.
No, you're right. It's the same thing. Again, I made the same step. I don't think it's true. It's the Siba Kalis, but he wasn't the Poel. He wasn't the Poel because this was only. First of all, it wasn't Ratzonis. It's only Tivis, and it was the. It's probably just an extension of himself. But it's not him that's doing the, well, it really is. Well, is it the relationship of the policeman with the club? When the dali hits the...
That's where I was thinking that's why it's a different case than tzroros because it's more of a direct connection.
Right.
Like the policeman with the club.
Yeah, okay. So it's either Mishuna, we're going to learn that the Karen is always Mishuna, and it's Hetzi Nezik Tzroros though is always a Garam. So maybe just because it's Mishuna. Okay, let's see. So here the same thing with the Shane. He's Mued to Oko Paris and Europos, but if he does Kasus or Kalen, so he has to take Hetzi Nezik because, as we said, that was Kavan Lahazik. Okay. This is where he does the damage. They jump from the roof. They're normally jumping from roofs. Well, here's an interesting one. A Kelev Shenoto Hacharara. There's a bread that's on a charcoal fire, and the Kelev takes the bread, and it has some burning charcoals on it. V'holoch legadish, and he carries it to someone's wheat, right?
Right.
And what does he do? He eats the harara, he eats the bread, v'hedlikas agadish, and by eating the bread and taking it over to the other person's field, he simultaneously burns the other guy's field down. So al harara mishalem nezik sholem. He pays for the bread that he took from the person because he went into shus of the nizak. So watch your dog. So on the bread he pays nezik sholem, but on the gadish he only has to pay chetzi nezik. I suppose that's like tzroros again, huh? He's paying worse machine.
Right. So on the Gadish, it's like tzroros because it's not a direct cause and effect.
Yeah.
The Harara, he ate the Harara. That's Shane.
Yeah, he ate the harara. That's Shane. He has to pay nezik shalom.
Right.
But he just threw the gechelis away, By eating the Harari, probably just dropped the Kechelis on the other thing. So I suppose that's either Mishuna or it's okay. Let's see what else we have here. Okay. Now this is interesting. When it comes to bor, there's really the Siba Poelis is really the Nizak. That was the Chiddush of bor, right? But the bor doesn't poll anything. The one who does the action is really the person who falls in the bor. But
Right, so you're creating a situation where it's possible for the person to get damaged by the situation.
right. So really, it's very interesting because there's no poelis there. That's the whole point. You just created a matzah that he's going to fall into the bore. He really damages himself by falling into the bore. But you're not supposed to put a mikshol in front of a person. Okay.
And without the Torah saying that you're chayav a bar, would you have thought that you're chayav a bar? Maybe a person would have said he's not chayav.
Yeah, probably not. Because there's not. That's what the Mishnah said. The Mishnah said that the shore and the mava and the aish are all dark and leilech or lahazik. They go out and do damage. The chiddush of bor is that it's passive completely. Okay, let's see what else we can get here. Here. Hashofech mayim b'shus rabim, v'huzak behem acher chayav v'nisko. A man throws water out into the shus rabim, and someone gets damaged, so he has to pay.
It's the same like bar, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is a bore. It is a bore. Yeah, these are all bores. Hamatzniya coats, schuchis. These are all bores. They're just not holes that they're all. Okay, and making also these fences. Let's see. Let's see what they have. Shnei kedarim, shahaya mahalchen, zeh achar zeh. There's two people carrying what is that called? Clay pots, right? One after another. So niskal harishon v'nafal, the first one trips and falls. The niskal hasheni b'rishon, and now the second one trips over the first one. So the rishon is chayav v'nisko shel sheni. So the first one, he made himself a bore, right? But he's chayav for the nesek of the sheni. Okay, that's all bore. And now they're going to crash into each other, not one behind, but one coming into each other. Oh, because they have both been running. So let's just see. Okay, look at this one. Shnei shvarim tamin shechablu zeh et zeh. So you have two shvarim, they're both tams, and they both damage each other. Okay, so that's really not shutfin because they're just damaging each other. So so it doesn't really matter. That's not going to add to us anymore, really. That's just going to be how to play the damages. 1 second. This is how much they're worth when they bang into each other. That's a suffix. Okay. One that does 4 one after another. Okay. You know, this is all Dinei Shor. Pekeach is qualities of the shore, whether it's Pekeach, whether he's Chereshot of a cotton.
Right.
That means can he do, can he have Kavan Lahazik? Okay. Let's see if we can get to
Mischach b'kaisel.
Oh, yeah. So this one. Shor Shahaya Miskavan L'Chabaro V'Maka Esaisha.
Oh.
That's a good one. So what happens? He was maskaben to hit another shore.
Right. So he was all charged up, running down the street with his Karen, whatever, about to.
Right, was Karen, exactly.
And instead of hitting the other shore, he bumped into an Isha.
Right. And she loses the baby. So let's look over here, you see. Let's go on the chart there, you see. So here, what are we going to say? We're going to say that he definitely is a Molida, that's for sure.
Right.
And it's Ritzonis, because he wants to do damage.
Right.
But he really doesn't want to do damage to the woman.
Right.
So we said, so what does it mean that when he wants to do damage for one thing and he ends up doing damage to another one? Okay, so that could really be Mikra, right? Is it Mikra, would you say? He did have Kavana, but
Right.
the Mikra, it was the Mikra, he damaged the...
I don't remember what the language of the Ramchal and Mikra.
Now the Mikra was like this. He said the Mikra was like the paper, the color of the paper damaged. There was a Mikra in the paper called the color that not damaged, that made the eyes weak. It wasn't the
Right.
paper itself, it was a Mikra of the paper.
Yes, I don't know if you
if
would call that here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What could we call it then? Well, we'll have to say that he had no kavanah. He really
Well,
had no kavanah.
If you have under
Yeah.
Mitzat Atzma, you have two things. You have
Yeah.
the Tafel, and the other one, which is Ikri. Would you say that it's a Tafel? It's not, because Tafel is
No, it wasn't Masorah. Well, unless you say what was Masorah and was really the other cow, that maybe. The Siba Moreras that he did the damage was really the other cow, not the woman.
right.
Right. But what aroused him to do the damage? It was the other cow, the other shore. But he had no. It wasn't with Sonus. He had no intention to do damage.
Right.
So I think that's about all we could say, unless Iker and Tuffle, maybe. Maybe Iker and Tuffle. But the Tachlis, no, he had no, you can't say Tuffle because it wasn't, his Tachlis was not at all to damage the woman. Right?
Right.
Unless she was in his way and that was something else. If he was in his way, then maybe you'll say his Tachlis Achron was to damage the other shore. And since she was in his way, he had to get rid of her in order to damage. But that would be, I don't know if that's the reality of the case. Okay. 7. Let's see if we can see a little more here. Okay. Now here we have interesting ones here. Now we're going to get some other ones. Boar shel shnei shutfin, right? We have a boar that's owned by two shutfin. Abu Ulav harishon v'lo kasu. The first shutah passes by the boar, and it's open, and he doesn't close it up, right?
Right.
Hasheni, the second one then walks by. He sees the open boar, and he also doesn't close it up. Oops. What's the din? The din is that the Rishon is chayav.
And not the Sheni.
Yeah. That's very strange. Why is that? First of all,
Because it was already a mazik. So although with bar, right, yeah, you should say that I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, what's called, let's go, yeah, we'll look at the Mishnais in 1 second. But Legabe the Hezek, what are these two people? What type of Siba were they supposed to be? Which they weren't. Each one, in other words, if they closed the bore, which one of the Sibos would we call them?
So it would be a rechaika.
Well,
Or
this is what I wanted to bring out.
mafsedes.
Oh, exactly, mafsedes. You see? They made the bore. Both of them made the bore, right? I don't know if they both dug it or they were shoot from the bore, doesn't really matter, right? But their problem was that they were not, both of them were not Siba Mafsedot, right? They should have, what should they have done? They should have Mafsid the bore, right?
Right.
So now why is the first one high? Do you have the Mishnayos there?
No, I didn't get it. I don't have it here. I have to,
Oh, okay. Hey, Bob, I'll look it up over here quickly. It's just interesting. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Mishnayos. Hey, Bob. Hey. Hey, Bob. Okay. It says, over lavarishon v'lo kasu, hasheni lo kasu, hasheni chayev. Hasheni chayev. Okay. Over lavarishon v'lo kasu, hasheni chayev. Yeb gemor mavor, she'ein hasheni chayev, ela mishi yimsor lo harishon et dalav. Oh, that's a whole, you see what happened? That was Akash. The teretz was, the sheni is not chayev unless the first guy, again, she'ein hasheni chayev ela mi she yimsor lo harishon es. In other words, the first guy gave him the cover, okay, and then over la harishon below kasu, hasheni below kasu, harishon chayev. Wait a minute. Harishon chayev. Again, the Peti shel Shneim, the Abur shel Shneim, and we usually go after. So, okay. Okay. Okay, the whole case is not simple.
Okay, yeah.
It says, look at the Meforshim over there, why the Rishon. Okay. Now, what happens, Kasua Rishon, the first one does cover it up, right? So he was the Siba Mafsedis to the Hezek, right? He destroyed the Hezek. Ubo Hasheni Umotza Magula Below Kasua. Now, the second one comes, and for some reason he found it open. So, okay, obviously, he's the one that's negligent there because the first one covered. Okay. Now, here is an interesting case. What happens if Nofal Mikol Hakriya? There's a guy inside the bore making a lot of noise, and he frightens the shore, and the shore falls into the bore. So what is that called? Okay, the noise that's coming from the bore. Okay.
So it's also like an indirect.
Well, indirect's a bad word.
Right.
That's a bad word. Rachok means far away. I don't know why. David wrote indirect. Okay, whatever. Blame him. Blame us. What's it? So here, really, I would say that the damage, the noise is a misorer.
Right.
Right? It was misorer the animal to fall. Right?
Right.
It aroused him to fall. Okay, Beseda, this is we'll stop here. We'll go on, but with the access to it. But like you said, we have the recordings, and
Right.
Bezrat Hashem, people will hear about the Sefer and actually use it. Well, we have that big thing, Bezrat Hashem. I told you Thursday we have a big event. It should be that the book will be published